Hello and welcome to UK Gaming Network. I'm Brian, also known as UK Zoidberg, and this is Best 10, where I offer up my favourite games to fit a selected theme. For the next few episodes, I'm going to turn my attention to the world of magazine cover discs. What began as a way to encourage us to buy one magazine over another quickly became an essential part of Amiga gaming over the years. Every month we would be treated to playable samples of upcoming releases, weird and interesting public domain games, and even some fixes for our favourite new releases. Sometimes though, and the subject of today's video, they would give away full games. These would be games that had previously been available at retail that were given away to us for the price of a magazine. But which ones were the best? I'm going to bring you my choices, but at the end of the day it is merely my opinion, and your list could be completely different. I'd love to know which ones were your favourites in the comments. Just for clarity though, for the purposes of this video, I am only looking at games that were given away with UK magazines. So then, what game is my number 10? Kicking off the list is a game that's only really here on a technicality. Issue 69 of Amiga Action in April 1995 was a comic relief special, and it came with 4 discs attached to it. On one of those discs, alongside demos of TurboTrax and the Spurious Legacy, was the complete game of the Blues Brothers from Titus. Trouble is, you couldn't just play it by sticking the disc in your Amiga. You had to ring a phone number and make a donation to the charity first, whereby you would be given a code to unlock the game. The magazine doesn't list anywhere how much that donation had to be, but it was probably significantly less than the £25 the game was when it launched. The game itself is a very enjoyable platform game and one of the better licensed games around, enlivened by the collection of recognisable tunes from the movie. Magazines such as Amiga Format and CU Amiga weren't just about gaming, and would quite often give away utilities on their disc. Shoot 'em Up Construction Kit straddles both sides of the line, by being both a game creation tool, but also an incredibly easy to use one, so that newcomers wouldn't be overwhelmed. Even I was able to make something back in the day. Originally released in 1988, it went on to be extremely popular with budding game designers, and I honestly lost count of how many games were created with it that you could get through public domain libraries. You were never going to be able to make the next Battle Squadron, but if it was enough to give someone the game design bug, maybe they went on to bigger and better things in their career.
Okay, suckers. Okay, suckers.
I doubt I would have ever bought the Amiga version of Deflector, as it was a game that I had previously bought, played and loved on the Spectrum. So when Zero decided to give it away for free in May of 1990, I was very happy. It was a dual format disc too, offering both the Atari ST and Amiga versions. This is a very simple conversion of the 8-bit original, with nothing more than a few extra colours, and it was programmed by Bill Allen, who would go on to make Corporation for Core Design. It also features a very nice soundtrack by Ben Dalglish. The gameplay remains as fun and addictive as it always was though, with plenty of room for trial and error to stumble on the solution to a level. Ultimately, it's still an 8-bit game in 16-bit clothing, but a good 8-bit game all the same. F1 World Championship Edition, released by Domark in 1995, is like the gaming equivalent of Whiskey in the Jar by Metallica. It plays like Vroom, looks a bit like Vroom, and it's perfectly good when viewed on its own, but at the end of the day you're better off sticking with the original. New developer Peakstar Software added many welcome new features and some great off-track presentation, but the so-called improvements to the visuals did nothing for me. There may well be more detail on the car models and the trackside scenery, but it doesn't look as nice and clean as the original game did. As for the magazine that gave it away, that would be Amiga Power in June of 1996, in what they described as an unusual fit of generosity. If you were sticking a game on your cover disc, surely it had to be a single disc game, correct? Not according to Amiga Action, who in August 1995 gave away Quick the Thunder Rabbit from Titus. This was a game that actually came on 3 discs, so in order to get the third one, you had to buy the September issue as well. It was an enjoyable platform game that got mostly overlooked at the time of release, as it was seen as yet another attempt to make the Amiga's equivalent to Sonic. With only 4 worlds though, and a handful of levels in each, it's a little on the short side. Interesting side note, the game's bland title was actually the winning entry in a competition run by The One for readers to come up with a name, and if that's what won, I'd hate to see what the other entries were. Even though Amiga Action's final issue was in December of 1996, it actually existed for a bit longer as the Games section inside Amiga Computing. In order to highlight this to unsuspecting readers, they gave away some games on their Coverdisks, and the second of these was Extreme Racing. An attempt to prove that the Amiga could produce SNES-style Mode 7 graphics, this ended up being a bit more than a standard A1200 could handle. If you were lucky enough to have an accelerated Amiga though, it's a surprisingly enjoyable racer with some incredibly familiar looking track designs, and certainly better than the likes of Bump and Burn or Street Racer. Just don't play it for very long though, as your eyes might go a bit blurry. Love it or hate it, the Amiga Power Top 100 became an annual event for Amiga gamers to look forward to, and in their penultimate issue they produced their final countdown. Given away with that issue was Blob, a platform puzzle game from Core Design that had been released in 1993. It was a game that I had only previously played the demo of and dismissed, but upon getting the full game I realised just how enjoyable it actually was. The controls do take a little getting used to, and it also suffers a little from the lack of a draw distance, but with a bit of practice and a lot of patience it's worth the effort. As for that final Top 100, there's no prizes for guessing what came out at number 1. Bubble and Squeak might just be the most adorable game ever made for the Amiga. If I'm wrong, tell me what is. The unmistakable graphical style of a Fox Williams title is just one of the reasons to play it. 2-button controller support, great puzzles, a nice variety of bonus stages, and another memorable Alistair Brimble score will keep you coming back time and again. Even the slightly annoying behaviour of your sidekick wasn't enough to put me off. It was originally released in 1994 by Audiogenic, including a version for the CD32. But this was the other game that Amiga Computing gave away at the start of 1997, following the closure of Amiga Action. How do you announce the arrival of a brand new Amiga magazine with attitude, specifically written for gamers? You give away a copy of arguably the best puzzle game of the day on your cover disc, and that's exactly what Future Publishing did when they bundled Bomboozle with the debut issue of Amiga Power in May 1991. Even at the time, it was already starting to look a little bit dated, but the excellent and devious puzzles still shine through, even if you're playing it all these years later. Designed by the legendary Tony Crowther, who would go on to make Captive and Nightmare, I would actually go so far as to claim that this is still one of the very best puzzle games on the Amiga.
Player 1, get ready.
So we go from the first issue of Amiga Power to the last, and I can't think of a better way to reward readers than sticking Thalion's excellent racer, No Second Prize, on the disc. Even on an A500, this racing game features super slick 3D visuals, but it's the pinpoint mouse controls and impeccable sound design that sealed the deal, making it the third best racing game ever on the Amiga, according to my own recently released Top 100 that is. As for the magazine itself, it signed off in the expected style with a scathing 1% review of Kickoff 96 that is honestly a thing of beauty. If you haven't read it, I urge you to do so. Unless your name is Steve Screech, that is. Those were my picks for the best 10 commercial releases that ended up on Coverdisks. Next time, I'll feature the best 10 games that you could have only got from a cover disc. I hope you come back and watch it. If there's a subject that you're itching to see us cover in this series, head over to our Discord and pop it in the game suggestion channel. The link is in the description below, along with details of how you can become a channel VIP for just £1.99 a month. and that will allow you to watch our videos as soon as they're uploaded. The full playlist of previous episodes should be on screen now if you've missed any. Thank you very much for watching, and until next time, happy retro gaming everybody. Bye for now.